So there's a fight going on in Washington right now, trying to protect the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau from the Trump administration's efforts to undermine it. For me, a big part of this story starts long before I ever got to the United States Senate. Back in 2007, I was still a law professor, and I was studying families who file for bankruptcy. The main reasons they file: medical debts, somebody lost a job, somebody died, a divorce. But bankruptcies were continuing to climb, and so we wanted to do a more in-depth study about what was going on. One of the people who ended up in our bankruptcy study was a woman named Flora. She was probably in her 80s then. She had moved down south decades earlier with her husband, and they bought just a modest little house. She said it was all that they had needed, and lived there for many years. Her husband had passed on, and she was managing quite nicely on her Social Security. And then she got a call from the nice man at the bank who explained to her that he could lower her payments. And so she agreed, signed a bunch of papers. But before she did, she asked him, so if the payments go down now, what happens if they go up later on, if the interest rates go up? And he said for her not to worry about that the banks knew about these kinds of things in advance, and that he would call her and let her change mortgages. She paused and said, but he never called. And then, you know what happened. Her payments shot through the roof. They absorbed nearly all of her Social Security payments. She did everything she could. She borrowed on her credit card. She talked to the mortgage company. She tried to get delays on her mortgage, and she fell further and further behind until she ended up in our bankruptcy sample. And that's why we built the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. We built it to be out there to say, this isn't right, this isn't fair. And we're gonna put a cop on the beat to make sure that these giant Wall Street banks, that these big mortgage lenders who are dealing in billions of dollars aren't making their profits by cheating the Floras of the world. So we set up a consumer agency, put it as far away from politics as we could, and we gave it exactly one mission: watch out for American families. Be that cop on the beat. And that's what they've been doing. So far, the consumer agency has forced big financial institutions to return $12 billion directly to people they cheated. It's handled 1.2 million complaints, and it's been out there to help level the playing field. Now, over the next few weeks, Donald Trump and the Republicans are going to say, the consumer agency doesn't work, the consumer agency is wrong, the consumer agency is too independent. You know, for me, that's what it all comes down to. Whose side are you really on? Are you on the side of the giant financial institutions, the Wells Fargos of the world that set up fake accounts and boost their profits by lying to people? Or are you on the side of the Floras of the world? Right now, that consumer agency works for Flora, and I want to see it stay that way. Please be in this fight. We really need you.